I unlocked every achievement in Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit. With a total of 38 achievements, it had me playing through the story, various minigames, getting jump scared, and beating the game on the hardest difficulty, which is also permadeath. We play as Oswald, who is seen drawing some animatronics when his father calls for him that it is time to go, asking if there is any place different he can go instead of Jeff's Pizza, as it's the same every day all summer long. Get pizza, stare at the grease-stained yellow walls for hours, then wait for his father to pick him up. He's almost glad that school starts tomorrow, just so he can only have to see that place on the weekends now. His dad apologises, as it's all they can afford right now. The closure of the mill has meant money is tight, and once he's full-time at the corner store, Oswald interrupts. If the corner store even survives that long, everything in the town is dead or dying, and there's no telling what's closing next. Asking if they can move to the next town over where everyone else is moving, all his friends being there as well. It can't be hard for Grandma to travel a few miles. His dad replies that unless her frail bones strengthen overnight, moving is a no-go. They arrive at Jeff's Pizza and Oswald gets out of the car. His dad then drives to work. He questions himself if he can't make Oswald happy, let alone afford to feed him more than pizza, and apologises. Having dinner, Oswald notices dad is late again. Overhearing a conversation from a family about a secret ball pit, he goes looking for it. He wonders what his dad would do if he hid and went missing for a while. Maybe teach him a lesson not to leave him at such a creepy place all day. He cannonballs into the pit, unlocking the first achievement. He then enters an entirely new area, but it looks similar. The place is packed with people playing, and we see Freddy, Bonnie and Chica entertaining on stage, but to Oswald, they are known as Brown Bear, Blue Rabbit and Bird Girl. He comes across Mike and Chip. They complement each other's clothing. Oswald likes his Future of the Flashback shirt, and it's his favourite old movie. But Chip tells him that the movie came out 3 weeks ago. They think he's the new kid as they haven't seen him around before, saying the new mill is bringing a lot of newbies into town. Oswald questioning new, it's the brand new steel mill, where Chip's dad works, as well as Mike's, even betting that's where Oswald's dad got a job. Questioning it further, Mike tells Chip that he is stressing Oswald out and he needs to have some fun while he settles in, suggesting pizza roller in the arcade. We then see a mysterious figure with glowing eyes open the door behind them and close it. A heavy loss against Mike in Pizza Roller, they suggest a game of hide and seek. Surprisingly, this door is unlocked and seems more like an employee only room. There lies an empty suit and Oswald thinks it is a great idea, as he bets they'd never check. Climbing into the suit unlocks our next achievement. We see Chip run into the room as well as a vital mechanic of the game, a meter showing how much noise we make, and staying quiet will be key. He opens the vent and climbs in, but Mike manages to find him. Not checking the suit, they head back out to find Oswald. The lights go out and a creepy creature stares into the suit, making Oswald hold his breath for as long as possible. It eventually loses interest and leaves the room. Suddenly people are heard screaming, crying and running as a disturbing sound is made throughout the diner. Oswald goes to find Chip and Mike, but finds other people running out of the building. Going in further, he enters an open door, where the creature gestures for him to follow down the hallway. Thinking it has Chip and Mike, Oswald follows and opens the door slowly, revealing bodies across the floor. The creature notices him and lunges forward. Oswald retaliates by throwing the stool in front of him and makes a break for it back to the ball pit. Getting out of the ball pit, Oswald sees Jeff and his dad. His dad asks him what he was thinking hiding in that nasty old thing, and why didn't he hear his name being called, when suddenly the creature grabs him and takes him into the ball pit. Oswald manages to pull him out, but he's different now. A flash of the creature appears in place of his dad, and his eyes begin to glow. Grabbing Oswald by the arm, it takes him away. Jeff tells them to have a good night, and Oswald asks him that he thinks something is wrong with his dad, but Jeff thinks he looks fine, suggesting the dust probably got to Oswald's head, and that he should go home and relax. In the car, Oswald asks what has happened to his dad, and where is it taking him, even questioning how he even knows how to drive, and even takes them back to their home. They both enter the house, and Oswald says he'll be heading to sleep. He comes up with the solution to call his mum and that his dad's phone is most likely in his room. However, the creature is there laying on the bed, and a noise distraction will be best to get it to come out. Oswald hides in the wardrobe and it comes out of the room, trying to find out what made the noise. With the room now free, he picks up the phone, but unfortunately it seems his dad remembers the numbers instead of adding them to the contact list. His mum's number should be written somewhere in the house, and that place is on the fridge. Dialing the number, she answers. Oswald exclaims it's an emergency emergency and she'll be right there. The first jump scare happens, causing the lights to go out, and Oswald retreats under the bed, having to prevent the toys from alerting the creature just outside. It eventually leaves the room, and Oswald hears the front door open, meaning Mum has arrived. Oswald pleads to her that Dad has been kidnapped and replaced. She thinks it's some kind of prank as he walks into the living room, and that Oswald should know better than to fake an emergency. Oswald asks her that can't she see it, but to her, he looks fine. She asks Oswald to calm down and go to sleep as she needs to return to the hospital. Returning to his room, he reckons Dad is still stuck in the ball pit and he needs to return to Jeff's. Exploring the house for a way out, we have a close call with the creature and enter the basement, finding a piece of rope and a weight-resistant mechanism. We then sneak our way into the attic and use the rope to descend, eventually making our way to Jeff's pizza. Jeff asks Oswald if his parents know he is here, to which he replies yes, and that dinner was burnt so he came for pizza. Before entering the ball pit, I explore around the pizzeria and enter the arcade. All the machines are broken, and with that mechanism I had picked up, I am able to fix one of them. This minigame is hefted with Helpules, a button mashing game, getting tougher the more reps you do, and after some curls, I unlock new alternative music, as well as some tickets. I find even more parts around the establishment and repair the machines to play the various minigames that will be very important for achievements later. I then decide to enter the ball pit. Oswald comes across a crying kid trapped within an endoskeleton. He asks how they got in there. They say something grabbed them and stuffed them inside, feeling like the suit is going to snap shut any moment. Oswald thinks he can loosen the bolts with a screwdriver, but he needs to find one. During the search, I'd unlock 2 achievements. The first are interacting with this Freddy cardboard cutout that plays the iconic honk sound, and because of that sound, it maximizes the sound meter for the other achievement. Then surprisingly getting one of the endings to the game after accidentally leaving the pizzeria. Oswald questioning what he should do and where to go, unlocking the achievement for leaving Dad behind. With everything possibly explored in the old pizzeria, we go back into the ball pit and talk to Jeff asking for a key to the basement. He makes a deal and asks us to take the trash out in return for the key, and gives us a flashlight as it gets dark out there. Putting the trash into the bin, we also find a puzzle matrix of one of the arcade machines and a rat trap. Returning to Jeff, he gives us the basement key that we're able to use in the past and present, as if you hadn't noticed in the beginning, the calendar is in 1985 after entering the pit. The basement has the screwdriver, and Oswald frees the trapped kid. They begin to talk about one of their friends when we hear noises suggesting it could be them, and he might be in danger. However, they have a change of mind and want to get out of here. Before they leave, Oswald asks if he's seen his dad, to which they reply they haven't. But the conversation is cut short when the creature suddenly bursts through the door, and we run to the pit. Back at home, Oswald recalls the event that happened and his day-to-day living with the creature. Thinking it was a dream, he starts the new day. Noticing the cat on the bed, I decide to pet it for an achievement. I then unlocked another for flicking a light switch 10 times. Heading for breakfast, it's the first day of school for Oswald, and his mum tells him to go eat in the dining room with his dad, but upon entering, the creature sits there. Deciding to skip on breakfast, he takes his lunch with him to school. In the playground, we watch a kid set a firecracker alight before running off. Oswald wonders if he has any more of them. We go searching for the kid and find a voucher validator, once again useful for the future. We then find the kid with the firecracker and ask if he has any more. He does, but he'll only trade for something he couldn't get anywhere else. It's the end of the day and time to go back home, but we notice someone being bullied. However, they decide to not waste any more of their time and leave. The girl's named Gabrielle, and they exchange interests such as reading. She mentions about helping her grandpa clear out some junk and found his old sketchbook, full of neat drawings. It also includes descriptions on the animatronics, Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica, the ones we saw after entering the pit, some of them even highlighted in red. She says that he used to be some kind of technician, so they're just doodles and notes from his old job, but he didn't want to talk about it. She was supposed to throw it away, but didn't want to waste the paper. Heading home, night 2 begins, and it's time to escape the house. This time, our previous exit has been boarded up. Noticing a ladder, the idea is to use it in the basement and access the window, but it makes a lot of noise when moving, alerting the creature. I must make a run for it and end up trying my luck with the front door successfully escaping. After entering the pit, I'd accidentally pick up an achievement here for kicking a ball into the door frame. The lights suddenly shut off, and to restore them, we must turn on the breaker backstage. I'd also find various items dropped from Oswald's dad, such as his wallet and a photograph. Inspecting them would give a memory. We then hear someone crying, but we forget about that after the creature chases us. Hiding in a chest, I must swat away the spiders before it leaves. Getting closer to the sound, we open the door and Chica attacks. Running away, Oswald's lunch bag falls out and Chica takes it, returning to the room. He comes up with the idea if it wants food, then maybe he can get a slice of pizza from Jeff. Asking him leads to no avail, as due to how things have been tough lately, we must buy it. So Oswald comes up with a distraction with the random rat trap found previously. Going back to the past, we catch the rat and release it in Jeff's pizza for him to deal with, and grab a slice of pizza from the kitchen. Here, 2 achievements would randomly unlock. The first for tripping 5 times as Oswald has the chance to trip during his sprint, and the other for talking to NPCs 100 times. Luring Chica out with a slice of pizza, we can enter the kitchen. The phone is ringing and I decide to answer it, unlocking an achievement. We then find Mike hiding in a cabinet, then make our way to the entrance. Oswald asks Mike if he has seen his dad, but he hasn't. Mike asks where Chip is and that they were in the arcade when the power went out, but he hasn't seen him either. The creature bursts through the door and grabs Oswald, but he manages to break free and escape. Day 3 begins, and before departing for school, I unlock an achievement for flicking the light switch 87 times. At school, Dylan is harassing Oswald with a sticky hand. A teacher sees this and confiscates it. Class begins, and Oswald hallucinates the creature in front of him, as well as Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica. The teacher asks if something is wrong, and he says he cannot focus. She suggests stretching his legs, as she had forgotten a book in the principal's office, and asks for him to go get it. The principal asks why he is outside of class. Explaining why, it turns out we cannot access the room as she needs help finding her keys to the office, which we successfully do and grab the book as well as take the sticky hand from the desk. With the day finished and the night beginning, I used the previous method I was going to use the night before. The ladder. I'd also unlock an achievement for meeting Jinx the cat in a room 10 times. Making it into the pit, we need to find a way into the arcade, but I accidentally walk into Chica after she enters through the door, triggering her alarm state, unlocking an achievement. After waiting till the coast is clear, I notice a shine on this vent and end up using the sticky hand to find the key to the arcade. Unlocking the door, we see Bonnie with Chip, but he puts his attention to us. Now to find a way to lure it out. We go backstage where we find his guitar, but it has broken strings, and that sketchbook had vital information on where to find some. The trash, in which we successfully find, but for some reason Dylan takes a picture of Oswald going through the trash like a raccoon. Fixing the guitar, we hook it up to the amp and play it, alerting Bonnie to our location. Hiding in the vent seems like a great idea until his arm breaks through and grabs Oswald, yet he breaks free, or so I thought because QuickTime events are very cool. Anyway, after redoing all of that and then rescuing Chip, Oswald asks him if he has seen his dad, but he hasn't. Chip asks about Mike, and knowing that he is safe, he thinks we should get out of here immediately, as a man can be heard screaming. Freddy enters through the far door and the creature also appears from behind, meaning it's time to escape. Beginning day 4 by going to school, it isn't going well for Oswald as Dylan reminds him of the photograph of him going through the trash. Oswald begins to have a panic attack, hallucinating the animatronics around him, then runs out of the building to the ball pit. Upon entering, we hear someone scream and go to investigate, which immediately goes wrong as we get grabbed by Bonnie from under one of the dining tables, unlocking an achievement. Shortly after in the arcade, I would use one of the tokens I had found throughout the pizzeria and play a minigame for another. Going to one of the few rooms I hadn't explored, it's blocked by Freddy, and to get him out we'll need to trade for a firecracker as the sketchbook said the bear hates bright flashes of light. But remembering he wants something unique for the firecracker, I used the tickets on this prize machine, giving me a video game console. After successfully making the trade, I'd randomly get the achievement for tripping 20 times. Turns out some of these achievements are delayed. Now luring out Freddy with the firecracker, we enter the room and find a girl, as well as Dad's wedding ring. Talking to her, she asks us to look at the camera where we notice the creature, meaning we need to cause a distraction so we can find a way out. Going into the arcade, I decided to play one of the minigames I hadn't played yet, before causing the distraction. By doing so, I unlock an achievement for playing all minigames. I return to the security room, but the girl is gone, and upon looking at the cameras, we notice the creature taking her to the kitchen. She's locked in the freezer, but the lock looks old and something could likely smash it. That something being the hammer from the arcade. After freeing her, she thanks us and heads to the exit. Unfortunately for Oswald, the creature makes his appearance once more and we flee to the pit. Getting worse and worse, Oswald wants to end it tomorrow. In his dream, he sees the creature scream and his name written in blood. Waking up, he immediately heads to the ball pit, but it has been been locked. Looking for Jeff, he gives us the key, and on our way to the door, the creature appears yet again, and we must quickly open the door, then hide away. After losing it, there's only one room left to check in hopes of finding Oswald's dad, but it has been locked behind an advanced lock, needing a security card. Exploring everywhere for it, I would stumble across a minigame Easter egg that will be important for later. I had to travel through a vent to reach the backstage, as it was impossible to go through the front due to the animatronics, and that is where I would find the security card to access the room. We find a trapped girl, once again asking if they've seen someone, to which she hasn't, but she has heard weird noises coming through the vent, like a man mumbling and snoring. Oswald tells her that she should have a clear run to the exit, and she takes her leave. Entering through the vent, we find Oswald's dad tied up and start untying him from the chair, but someone begins to open the door and we hide in the vents. The creature drags his dad away and we follow in pursuit. It throws him into the pit before directing its attention to Oswald. He fights back and escapes to the present with his dad. Waking him up, he seems fine, but he watches his son get dragged back in by the creature. Oswald is then seen tied to a chair with the creature in front of him, concluding the 1-star ending of Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit, unlocking an achievement. It is now time to get the remaining achievements, as several playthroughs are required. The next achievement was to simply dial 911 with the cell phone. In the past, interacting with this candy machine 10 times unlocks the next achievement. While doing another playthrough for a future achievement, I would unlock Impatient for pressing the action button 100 times during cinematics. At the arcade machines, I needed to get 404 tickets, and that takes a while, considering you don't get many tickets per game. However, this minigame hefting with Helpules is only a button press, and by setting up a macro, I simply toggled it on so it would automatically complete the minigame, and shortly after I would get 404 tickets. Remember those Oswald dad items I had found? Well, it turns out I missed one, and it is pretty easy to miss compared to the others, and by fighting them all, it unlocks the next achievement. Next was fixing all the arcade cabinets. Like before, I ended up missing one of them during my first playthrough. You find most of them throughout Jeff's Pizza, there's one in Oswald's house, and a few in Freddy's Pizza. By fixing them all, it unlocks Arcade Apprentice. In addition to finding all those dad items, the girl in the room before finding Oswald's dad drops a picture, unlocking Who Are They? Upon closer inspection, it's of two men inside of a strange office, perhaps somewhere inside of Freddy's. With all these new items in my inventory on this playthrough, I'd unlock the 2-star ending. This time, the photo falls out of Oswald's pocket and confuses the creature. It still follows through, but ends up getting caught within the rope and eventually stopping movement. Oswald and his dad have words of comfort, as well as a talk about the possibility of moving somewhere better. Jeff is then seen in the pizzeria. Noticing blood on the floor, he goes to investigate and finds the creature tied up, which ends up jumping him. I'd unlock 2 achievements, one for achieving the 2-star ending, and the other for finishing the game without turning on the flashlight. Reloading the save, I'd get another alternative ending, this time failing the quick time event against the creature. Oswald can then be seen in the pizzeria. Noticing the animatronics being friendly to him, he slowly loses his voice and name before his eyes turn blue like that of the animatronic, unlocking an achievement. Next would be the Nightmare playthrough, the hardest difficulty that has permadeath, meaning if you get caught, it is back to day 1. In addition, multiple hiding spots are destroyed, and the creature gains speed much quicker than before, meaning you must use hiding spots if you are being chased. The game is relatively short if you know what you're doing, but you can easily get caught out, especially on night 5 when getting the key for the room. However, I figured out a cheese method for this. If you close the game as you're about to die, you'll respawn to the closest checkpoint. I also had to go for the 3-star ending in this Nightmare playthrough, as there is a specific achievement for it. As far as I'm aware, the 3-star ending is almost the same to the 2-star, by obtaining all of Oswald's dad's items and the picture, but this time you need to play every minigame as well as the secret minigames. Like the one I previously mentioned, which ends up having you pick up balloons for a prize, and it unfortunately goes very wrong. I believe you get this minigame after getting enough tickets to get the previous gifts, like the video game console, as well as free stickers for the sketchbook, meaning you need 5 vouchers, as you'll need to use the voucher in the past to access the minigame. The second minigame is to dial Mum's number on night 5, where you seemingly play as Circus Baby, asking you to build a character several times. The final secret minigame is to interact with the candy machine many times. Eventually you'll access it and be asked to pick up multiple objects until the final one. This time, the ending has more lines of dialogue, as well as an ending ending showing the pizzeria thriving as the family eat together. With the end of this playthrough, 3 achievements would unlock. The first for completing the game without getting caught, the second for achieving any ending in Nightmare mode, and the third for achieving the 3-star ending in Nightmare mode. You would think if you beat the game on the highest difficulty, you would get achievements for those on the lowest. But you don't, meaning I needed to do another 2 playthroughs, one for achieving the 3-star ending in either creepy or frightening mode, and another for achieving any ending in terrifying mode. During the terrifying mode playthrough, I'd witness Freddy sometimes opening the door, and by simply running into him, I unlocked the next achievement. Then tripping over 100 times, by simply sprinting and swapping quickly between left and right to increase the odds of it happening. And the last achievement before the quote-unquote platinum, I needed to use each hiding spot one time while being chased without getting caught. I used a lot of them during the playthroughs. There are several throughout the game, from under the beds and tables to chests and cabinets, the vents throughout the pizzeria, but easily the 2 missables are the Freddy costume and the cabinet within the kitchen. By using these last 2, I'd unlock Hide and Seek World Champ and Looking to the Future for unlocking all achievements. If you enjoyed this video, why not check out how I unlocked every trophy in other Five Nights at Freddy's games?